Welcome everybody to a look at a new release from the Criterion collection, and it is 1990s Dreams. So this is directed by Akira Kurosawa, who I've seen 7 other films from. Granted, that's not a large amount considering he did 30 films in general, but yeah, my favourites from him have been the likes of Seven Samurai, Throne of Blood, and Sanjiro. So this is a magical realist anthology film, clocking in at 120 minutes long. It has a massive kind of cast, given it's got several stories that it's telling. But the two main ones that I noticed while watching it were Chaishu, probably getting that name wrong, Chaishu Ryu, who I've seen in the likes of Tokyo Story, Record of a Tenement Gentleman, and A Hen in the Wind, as well as Martin Scorsese or Scorsese. Yeah, he's obviously more well known as a director, but he actually plays a famous painter in the form of Vincent van Gogh. So yeah, it was really rather interesting to see him in an acting role for once, and in a quite prominent one as well, given he's part of the basically the lead character for one of the stories. So this is a collection of magical tales based upon the actual dreams of the director. So we've got several stories here. So I'll just run through the actual titles of the stories because it probably be way too spoiler heavy just to give a rundown of the plot premise for each story, given they're only about 10 to 15 minutes long each. So yeah, just a plot premise alone would give away a lot of the actual plot to each of them. So yeah, we've got Sunshine Through the Rain, The Peach Orchard, The Blizzard, The Tunnel, Crows, Mount Fuji in Red, The Weeping Demon, and Village of the Watermills. So yeah, although this anthology film lacks a narrative wraparound to bring all of its stories together, that's commonplace in a lot of, say, horror films. In terms of horror anthologies, you look at the likes of other ones from Amicus Productions in the 60s and 70s, and they usually had a wraparound narrative. This doesn't, which means that there isn't a cohesive whole to this film, outside of obviously Akira Kurosawa. But yeah, I did nonetheless find this to be highly engrossing, while each individual story does feel unique and are overall well executed. Despite this having the usual flaw with these types of films, in that it's the plots feel somewhat underdeveloped due to time constraints, but that's kind of a given, quite frankly, with these anthology films. That said, this has themes in space that are more than worthwhile in being depicted. You have the likes of greed and wrecking the environment and loneliness and aging. So yeah, it's all really well done in terms of its themes. This is well paced. The cast is really good. The production is great. The cinematography is excellent. The score is well done, and only one of its 8 stories was unsatisfying, and that was The Blizzard for me. It just felt like it was going nowhere for a large proportion of its time, and then its end reveal just, yeah, doesn't really particularly grip me. But I'd say my 3 favourites. Third favourite would be Mount Fuji in Red. Second favourite would be Crows. Crows is the one with Martin Scorsese in it, and Village of the Watermills would be my ultimate favourite, which also saw Chayushi Ryu. So yeah, they're my 3 favourites out of the bunch. But yeah, apart from the Blizzard, the rest of them are actually fairly solid in their own rights as well. So yeah, took a bit of a punt with this, given it's on 4K as well. The 4K itself looks excellent. Although obviously I don't have a any other format to compare it against because I didn't watch it in Blu-ray first, but I imagine the 4K has nothing wrong with it, to be honest, in terms of the color grading or sound quality or anything like that, because nothing immediately leapt out at me in terms of the way it looks. We also get a booklet with it as well. That's a shot from the last film, Village of the Watermills. That's actually Chaishu Ryu. He was, I think, in his 80s by this point. I think he was 85 in the film itself. And yeah, inside we've got casting credits. Then we've got Quiet Devastation by Bilge Ebiri. Then we've got The Phantom Final Dream and About the Master as well. So there are shots in this. So that's from the tunnel. And I think that's from the Blizzard. I know it's kind of obvious with the snow and stuff, but it could easily be from one of the other ones which are quite dark. That's from the Orchard, the Peach Orchard even. We've even got a part of a script by the looks of things in here. That's from Crows, which is inspired by a painting from Vincent van Gogh. And then about the master, we've got this presented in its original aspect ratio 185:1. Digital master was created from the 35mm original camera negative, which was scanned in 4K resolution on a laser graphics director film scanner under the supervision of cinematographer Shoji Ueda. Then the 2.0 surround soundtrack was remastered from the 35mm magnetic track. And on the 4K Ultra HD disc, the feature is presented in HDR, and on the Blu-ray, it's presented in high definition SDR. So yeah, they put a fair decent amount of work into this release, and we also have extras on the disc as well. So we have audio commentary featuring film scholar Stephen Prince or Stephen Prince. Then we got feature length documentary from 1990, shot on set and directed by Nobuyuki Obayashi. Then we got interviews with production manager Torio Nogami and assistant director Takashi Kozimi. And then we got documentary from 2011 by director Akira Kurosawa's longtime translator Catherine Kado, featuring interviews with filmmakers Bernardo Bertolucci, Alejandro Di Inarritu, Miyazaki. He's the director of all those animated films, isn't he? I know I sound completely ignorant in that. I think it's Studio Ghibli, but anime in Japan is a real blank spot in what I've watched. I probably can name two or three that I've seen, and only two of them I can actually remember: Akira and Tokyo Godfathers. Um, then you also got Martin Scorsese and others involved in that, and then you got the trailer, and then the booklet that I've already shown. So yeah, I don't think this has. Yeah, this doesn't have reversible artwork or anything like that. I think this is the actual artwork. That rainbow with the child in the foreground there is from the first story, Sunshine Through the Rain. And yeah, overall, like I said, a really, really good anthology film. It's not the best anthology film that I've seen, but outside of horror, you don't really get that many anthology films. So it's really nice to see one in a completely different genre. That isn't to say there aren't any horror kind of aspects to this. I'd say The Tunnel and The Weeping Demon have horror elements to them as well, while Mount Fuji in Red is somewhat of a disaster kind of film. But or disaster short, should I say? But still, it's overall a really, really good effort, and I highly, highly recommend getting it, especially if you are into Kurosawa's filmography, and especially if you're getting into his filmography, because like I said, I've not seen many of his films, and therefore I want to make this like kind of a launching pad to see more of his efforts. So, yeah, which I'm definitely going to endeavour to do. So, yeah, nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, that to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.